Hello everyone and welcome back to Wildlight. I'm Gray Wilder and I'm so excited for today's episode because this is a special one. I created this little personality quiz that I think will help people determine what sphere in conservation they would most likely fit into within a career perspective. And I love thinking about this because from my perspective as someone who has taught a class about conservation and conservation careers. For those of you who don't know, I have all those videos posted on this channel. It's the Conservation in Action class at UC Berkeley. And I love talking about and helping people work through how their interests and their personalities fit into certain careers within conservation. Without more delay, I wanted to go straight into some of the questions that I have, and I hope you guys will follow along and keep track of your answers. So I'm gonna pose a question to you, and there's gonna be an answer from A to E. And what I want you guys to do is just remember in your head, there's only a few questions, so you should be able to memorize it, whether you picked A, B, C, D, or E for every question. So without further ado, let's go. Question 1. What is your favorite way to spend a day? So first option is A, exploring the outdoors and getting hands-on with nature. B, talking with people and sharing stories. C, analyzing data and solving puzzles. Or D, creating art or media projects. And then finally, E, standing up for causes and organizing events. So take some time to consider this question. What's your favorite way to spend a day? A, B, C, D, or E? And once you've chosen, I'm going to move on to the next question. Question 2 is, what's your strongest skill? Is it A, physical endurance and observation? Or is it B, communication and empathy? Is it C, critical thinking and research? Is it D, creativity and storytelling? Or is it E, leadership and advocacy? So again, take some time to think about this question. What's your strongest skill? A, B, C, D, or E? Next question, what kind of work environment do you prefer? A, outdoors in the field. B, community centers or classrooms. C, labs or offices. D, studios or digital spaces. Or E, activist rallies and policy meetings. Take some time to think about that one, but I'm moving on to question 4. There's only 5 questions, so memorize the answers that you had for the past 3, and now I'm moving on to 4. What motivates you most in your work? Is it A, discovering new things and solving mysteries in nature? B, inspiring and educating others to care about the environment? C, using facts and data to make informed decisions? D, creating impactful stories or visuals that move people? Or E, fighting for justice and influencing policy change? Then lastly, the final question. How do you prefer to collaborate? Is it A, working independently in the field or lab? B, leading group discussions and community projects? C, collaborating with experts through research and analysis? D, partnering with creative teams or media professionals? Or E, organizing and mobilizing groups for campaigns or advocacy? I hope you tallied which letter you preferred most. And in a second, I'm gonna go over each personality type that corresponds to the letter that you chose. Before I do that, I just wanted to go over it again and say, even if you are unsure with the answers to these questions, maybe you have a few that you're interested in, I hope this personality quiz can help you determine what kind of fork in the road you should focus on. So conservation is such a wide field that there are so many avenues within that I think it's even helpful just to have a avenue that you are most interested in. So you'll see in a second all of the options here, and maybe you're interested in a couple of them, but I hope you can rule out some of them that may not align with your personality or goals as much, and that could hopefully help you determine which opportunities to take next, or which people to reach out to, or what kind of plan that you want to have for your future that may include certain roles, such as the one that you will answer the most to, or maybe the second place or third place letter. So without further ado, let's go into every single letter and what career path or what personality type that corresponds to. So if you answered mostly A's, you are the field explorer. You love being outside, getting your hands dirty, and observing wildlife firsthand. Careers like a wildlife biologist, a field technician, or a habitat restoration specialist could be something that you might be interested in. And I love this personality type because for me, these are the people that are like so invested in on the ground work and really that management side. You know, when you talk about conservation, there's a lot of like pillars for different opportunities, and these people are really like into the hands-on work, and I think that's really cool. If you answered mostly B's, you are the communicator. So you thrive on connecting with people and sharing knowledge. Think environmental educator, community outreach coordinator, or a conservation journalist. So for me, this is super interesting because as someone who has taught a class at UC Berkeley, teaching people is so rewarding. And if you're the type of person that really is excited about that or feels rewarded by teaching people, educating people on the topics that they're most interested in, this is something that is so incredibly needed and impactful. And not only can you think of like an environmental educator, community outreach coordinator, or conservation journalist, but also maybe getting a PhD and doing a professor, assistant professor position, or possibly tenured position within the future. So yeah, there's a lot of flexibility within this, personality type as well, but there are options out there, and it's important to kind of like recognize that. And if you answered mostly C's, you are the analyst. So you're a problem solver who loves data and research. Conservation geneticist, policy analyst, or ecological modeler could be perfect for you. And with the analyst personality type, I think it's really interesting that this kind of person is someone who will thrive in not only an academic environment, like an academia position within like labs and research, but also someone who could thrive in policy as well, because as a policy analyst, you will be looking at the data firsthand that is informing the policy and kind of being able to reconcile differences within these science to policy pathway. And I think that's really interesting and important as well. If you answered mostly D's, you are the creator. And these are people who create, where creativity drives you. I mean, you want to inspire others through art or media, and if you are this personality type, possibly consider being a wildlife documentary producer, a conservation photographer, or a digital content creator. So again, a lot of people are super interested in multiple of these different personality types in different fields, but if you got mostly D's in this questionnaire, I think it is especially telling that you are dedicated to this creative side, and it's easy to lose sight of that when you are into conservation and wildlife science, because you may think the typical pathways include just going into science, going into data, going into research, but that doesn't have to be the case. You can be a educator through creative media, and I think that's so inspiring and important because, I had an episode earlier within this series in Wildlight where I talked about childhood nature media. And for me, as someone who grew up low income and inner city, I didn't get to see a lot of wildlife. It was challenging for me to be able to connect with nature in that way until I started really diving into nature media and seeing that me and this concrete and this pigeon and this squirrel exist in the same world as blue whales and elephants and giraffes and other amazing wildlife. And those people who are dedicated to the media of translating science and this data and this research into communication through creative media are so important and not to be undermined. So if you are the creator, props to you. I'm super excited for where this career could possibly take you. And finally, if you answered mostly E's, you are the advocate. So you're passionate about making change and standing up for wildlife. Careers like conservation lawyer, activist, or NGO leader might fit your style best. So again, with the advocate, I think this is one of the most inspiring personality types out of the 5 that I've talked about today, because advocates are powerhouses. I know a few advocates myself that I really look up to because they are so driven and strong and passionate, and you can really see that within their work. And I think it's really valuable to have people who are interested in standing up for wildlife and are not afraid to take charge and lead these efforts in conservation, because we need you. Again, conservation lawyers, activists, and NGO leaders, they're very difficult positions and grueling jobs. You have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, but these personality types are natural born leaders, and I believe in y'all. So again, whichever personality type you got throughout this quiz, I hope you really take a second to think about that personality type and those careers that kind of align with your interests and your personality, and hopefully educate or lead your next experiences through this perspective of who am I, what do I like doing best, and knowing that whatever you are most interested in, there is something out there for you within conservation and environmental advocacy. So yeah, I just wanted to take today and kind of create a little personality quiz, because for me, personality quizzes were always so fun. I loved taking personality quizzes, especially in middle school. Oh my gosh, I was all over it. And I hope you enjoyed it too. And remember, these are just pathways to get you thinking. Conservation needs all kinds of different people with all kinds of different skills and interests. And if you want more of this kind of content or advice about careers and about conservation in general, or are interested in different niche topics within conservation, I encourage y'all to check out the Wildlight podcast in its entirety. And also my YouTube channel, Gray Wilder, has so much information on college applications, research applications, grant writing, wildlife news, wildlife conservation stories, modern conservation takes, paradigms within conservation, and all of the sort. So if you're interested in this, I really would appreciate you guys following my podcast Wildlight on anywhere you listen to podcasts.